Hey guys, welcome back to Sad Dad. My name's Dave Abkary and I am a comedian out of Fresno, California. And this is the podcast where I sit down with my fellow funny friends, my fellow comedians, and we talk about dads. Hi, how are you? How's your week been? Man, it's been kind of a fun week for me. I've had a bunch of fun comics crashing with me this week. My guest today, Sam Lopez, was one of them. She's a fun hang, and then she brought a guy named Jeffrey I had never met before. He's been cool. We were talking about movies. I don't know much about movies. I realized I know when I don't like them, but I'm not very good at like the artistry of movies. I'm like, it was good. I like that one part. I don't know. So Jeff's kind of like a movie nerd, so he's fun to talk to. He kind of educated me on some things. And then I've had Taylor Evans was crashing here, Marcus Peveril, who's next week's guest. They were fun. It was a fun week. I had a good time. I got some fun shows coming up. I'm doing a show up in Sonora, which is up in the mountains. Doing that pretty soon. Going to be out next week up in Eureka, the Savage Henry's Comedy Festival. So that'll be fun. If you're in that area, I've decided to go. I know I was waffling back and forth on that a couple episodes ago. I think I'm going to do it. I'm doing Friday and Saturday. I think it's October 11th and 12th. Oh, I'm going to look at my calendar. Maybe I should post those somewhere. So yeah, that'll be a good time. And yeah, so just doing the damn thing, just doing the damn comedy thing. I don't know how you guys felt about the Sad Dad Jam Sesh last week. We're back to our regularly scheduled programming, by the way. I actually have a guest for you today. Not going to play a bunch of weird like EDM music that I wrote 7 years ago. So yeah, I don't know. The download numbers on that episode were pretty good. So I don't know. Looking at that, maybe you guys did enjoy it. I promise I won't do that again for a while unless I really have to. I like putting together clip shows. Those are kind of fun. I don't know if I have any fun clip show occasions coming up. You know, I try to do those on like either Mother's Day or Father's Day or like New Year's, like recaps. I don't know. I have to find an excuse to come up with a clip show for you guys. Either way, yeah, I got a great guest today, though. Sam Lopez is somebody, we talk about it on the show, somebody I've wanted to have on for a really long time. And for the amount of times she comes to, like, perform in Fresno, it's shocking how she has not been on this show yet. A good friend of hers, Asana Ahmad, has been on. And then again, we talk about it. There was one time I was going to record with her, ended up recording with Tema Saul instead. So either way, it was. I finally we nailed it down. We pinned it down. We did the damn thing, and so it turned into a fun episode. Sam's great. We talk about she's performed comedy like in New Zealand, and I don't know, she's got kind of an interesting backstory as far as her world travels. We'll get into all that. I don't want to spoil it for you. So cool, guys. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Here we go. Sam Lopez. Put your
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was smoking weed in mine.
These levels might be a little weird.
Are you already recording?
No.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I didn't want my dad to know that I smoke weed.
Oh, yeah, no.
He knows, though.
Well.
But we don't talk about it.
You don't want, how would he know? What have you said about weed?
Nothing, but I'm just sure he knows.
Okay.
It's weird to have headphones on with other people in the room.
You're like a little podcasting bubble. It's okay. They're not even there.
Okay.
Fuck those guys. I didn't mean that. He's waving. What was the first time you did Fresno? Was that you came up with Derek and Hassan?
I can't remember the first time. It was really early on. It came up with Derek and Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
Derek was headlining.
Oh, okay. Was it in Danny's room?
It was definitely in the Chichos.
Yeah. The Chicos.
Chicos.
Yeah, the Chicos. That's fine. But was I there? Was I there the first?
I feel like you were there. I feel like we stayed with you the first time that I came up.
Okay. Yeah, and because I gave you and Derek my bed.
Was that the first time?
I don't know.
Maybe we came up for a single night the first time, and then we came back and did a weekend.
Because I remember the first time I ever had to run a show by myself, without Danny there. It was Derek headlining, and I think it might have been the first time Derek had headlined our rooms because we were both Derek and I both didn't know what to do.
Okay, yeah, that must have been that night because
Yeah.
I didn't come up until Derek was already headlining.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I was like, I think I'm supposed to pay you this much, and he's like, I think that's how much you were supposed to pay me. Like neither of us knew. There was no adult in the room.
It's like, this is good.
Yeah, this is fine.
I feel good about this.
Cool. Awesome. Here you go, man.
Was everything good with Danny? Or did you do everything wrong?
No, I think I did okay. Yeah. I was like 6 months into comedy. And
Really? You were only 6 months in then?
I think so. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we perform a lot. I don't know. You get. I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, if I wanted to perform comedy, I just had to like put on as many. There's no shows in Fresno. Like, there's no mics in Fresno. So I just made Danny start a bunch of mics with me. So yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's when it all started.
Yeah.
So there were only those 2 shows before.
Yeah, it was Danny had a weekly show, and like I was on Saturdays, and there was 0 mics. There was 1 mic at Grog's, and then that shut down. And then I was like brand new in comedy. I was like, Danny, like I need you to help me start mics. He was like, I'll help you start a mic, but I'm not running the mic. I hate running mics. And I was like, I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Like I literally do not care as long as I can get on stage and do something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're responsible for so much of my time.
Yeah.
I thank you very much for that.
Was it when that one time you headlined? Was that the first time you'd ever headlined a show?
Yeah, you were the first one to give me a headlining spot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
probably the most time I've ever done.
But here's the thing: is like one of the things that sold me on headlining you was you had asked me, like you came up to me and you're like, hey Dave, like if because those spots are like 20-25 minute headlining spots, and you were like, Dave, when I have 20 minutes, could I headline the show? And I was like, yeah, but I was like, you tell me when you have 20 minutes, and you were like, okay, and like you didn't like hit me up right away. Like there was a few month gap, and then you hit me up. And that was how I knew. I was like, oh, she took it seriously. Like, she was really like, I want to make sure that I have a solid 25 minutes before I bug Dave.
Wow. I don't remember that at all. Also, I didn't know that the shows were supposed to be 25 minutes. In my mind, when I came to do the show, I was only doing 20 minutes.
You did it's 20 to 25. So
okay.
you did like 20 minutes like right on the nose, which was fine. That was perfect.
It was fun. I think I went over, though.
It's okay.
It was good.
No, it was fine. Because Danny I don't know how much time you actually did because Danny was running the time.
Yeah, it was confusing.
And then he forgot to start the time. And so he probably started it like 7 minutes into your set. So he had no idea where you were at.
That was a really good time.
Yeah,
I'm just so happy that I got that opportunity.
Yeah.
That's cool that you guys did that.
Yeah, well, and you also, too, like you had Sammy Obeid on that show. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I was really nervous because I was going to have to follow him. And then you said that I could let him headline if I wanted.
Well, we were giving you an option. We weren't gonna. It wasn't that. You were still gonna be the headliner, but we were like, we can create a special guest spot for Sammy after you, if you want. And you were like, okay, let's do that. But then like 10 minutes later, you were like, no, put Sammy on before me. I was like, fuck yeah, Sam. Fuck yeah. Like, yeah.
I thought about it. I was like, damn, I came out here to headline.
Yeah.
I said I was gonna do it.
And you crushed.
Also, I didn't want to be like a little bitch,
Yeah. No, you did great. Yeah. And and it was fun. It was
really fun. I remember being nervous before, and then Sammy before he went up, because he wasn't really a part of this. He didn't know about this is going on.
Right? No, he didn't know any of that. Yeah.
But before I went up, he said, because he knew it was my first time headlining. He was like, "You're gonna be great," and you know why? Because you're Sam. And that's like all I needed. And I was like, yeah, I'm a Sam.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah. Where did you grow up? You grew up back east?
Mm-hmm. I'm from Maryland.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's pretty chill. It's like everywhere.
Yeah.
They call Maryland mini America.
Okay.
Because it has like all the parts. Except we don't have any desert.
No desert. But you got like mountains and you got...
We have mountains. We have lakes. We're near the ocean. There's a bay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
Yeah. It's really gross. But like people spend lots of money to get crabs out of that bay. So
okay.
It doesn't bother people.
That's fun. Yeah. Is it so like it like snows and stuff? Is that
it snows?
Yeah. Was it snowing? What part of Maryland were you in?
I grew up about 30 minutes outside of Baltimore, like northwest, in this area called Carroll County.
Carroll County?
Yeah, it's the only conservative county in a very blue state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. They got cows.
Oh, okay. That's like rural. It's like this. It's like my house.
It's like this, but like you're right near the city.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, it would only take me... Like, if I left my mom's house, it would only take me 30 minutes to be, like, within Baltimore city limits.
Yeah. Okay. You were telling me a little bit ago you went back home recently and you were doing comedy back home. Because you started comedy in California, right?
Yeah, I started comedy in New Zealand.
That's right. You've told me that before.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It is really strange.
Yeah.
I was a nanny. I had no intentions of doing stand-up at all.
How do you end up being a nanny in New Zealand? Like, what is this?
Dude. You know, like, you have to, like, mess up your whole life and get really depressed.
Really?
I was like I just had gotten out of college and I had a job. I had already had like 3 jobs in the first year that I'd been out of college.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I was feeling really down about my life and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I was working in the nonprofit sector, so like everything's depressing, you know, like no one cares about people.
Everything's terrible.
Everything's terrible. Yeah. And so I was like, I have to leave. I've lived in Maryland my whole entire life. I was like, I'm gonna leave. And I knew a girl who was nannying in Germany.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't speak German, but I'll look for jobs in like anywhere that speaks English.
Sure, okay.
And so I wanted to go to England, but I don't know why that didn't work out. I just found a really good family in Australia, and I went there. This is a really long story.
I mean, it's what we're here for. But like, I mean, there's like a website you're on. Like, how do you find these families?
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of websites. It's like they have babysitter websites too. So.
Sure.
They have nanny websites, and I found them through this, I think it was called it was something Bury. It was a British website.
Yeah.
But they also cater to Australia and New Zealand.
I wish there was like a nanny exchange program where like you came over and some Kiwi nanny came to the United States. And,
oh yeah, that's way cooler.
Yeah, but no, that's not what it is.
It's more like it's like any other website where you get a job. It's like Indeed for nannies.
Okay. Indeed, yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, and so you find this Australian family. It's like, oh, we need a.
Oh yeah,
they were like, need a nanny.
We need a nanny.
Yeah, I think that was more British.
We're trying it.
Yeah. Shrimp on the barbie. We need a nanny. That's not any better. That's good.
I live there and I can't do it. No, I found them. I really liked them. They were awesome. I lived with them for 6 months. And then I found another family, and they lived, because the family I first lived for lived in like the country, like rural. They like had cows and stuff. Oh, yeah. And then I found a family in Sydney, but they were friends with the family that I'd been with before. So they were also awesome.
Oh, good.
And I lived there for 6 months. And then I didn't have enough money to come back to America. I'd spent a lot of money. So I flew to New Zealand. Oh, also I had to leave because my visa was up in Australia. So I had to leave the country.
You were literally getting ran out of the country.
Yeah, but I couldn't afford to go home. So I went to New Zealand because I could afford a flight to New Zealand, and I nannied there, and that family sucked.
Oh, no. The New Zealand family sucked?
They were the worst. They hated me, and they were in a bad relationship. But that's why I started doing stand-up.
Okay. Yeah. You were just so miserable at your job that you're like...
Because you live with them. And so I just was looking for things to get me outside the house. And funny. I was hanging out at this comedy club that had an open mic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was like, these people suck. I could do this.
Yeah.
And then I was also bad, but...
No, it's okay. You just have to be funnier than one guy on the open mic, and that justifies... you being there. So
yeah, and back then also it didn't matter as much. I wasn't as worried about being funny when you first start.
Sure,
I think you're just kind of like impressed that you're up there in general.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what that's what I always tell like newer comics when they start. Like, don't even worry about being funny. Like, if you're like brand new and you're doing your first open mic spot, like just don't. Who cares if you're funny? Like you're literally doing the hardest thing in the world, and like getting up in front of strangers. So yeah, but. Was it you that was telling me that they don't do comedy with shoes on?
Oh, yeah. There were a couple of comedians who would go up barefoot. And so I had done that a couple times. And so when I came back to America, I didn't know that you weren't like supposed to wear flip-flops.
Okay.
Or shorts
just
and
going
stuff
up there,
like that.
Yeah, going up there like a trash monster.
And Derek had to be like, hey, you need to put a pair of shoes on.
Closed-toed shoes for
closed-toed shoes. They're like, but my toes are so cute.
That's funny. Okay, and so then you eventually leave New Zealand. You left New Zealand because you were like, fuck this family, or did your visa expire again?
Well, actually, no. I was in New Zealand, and in the comedy world, I was living in Auckland. It's not super huge, and there's like a handful of comedians that get a lot of spots, and there's really not a lot of mics. I could only get up at a mic maybe like 3 times a month.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
it was crazy. And maybe if I'd stuck around, I would have gotten more spots at like local shows. But at that point, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get good here.
Yeah.
So I decided to come home, and I'd read about different small cities that had good comedy scenes, and I heard San Diego was good.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
so comedy really like influenced a lot of
My life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah.
Well, originally I thought I would go to Hawaii and do stand-up for a while, and there wasn't really a lot of as many mics there.
What is your life? You're like, I'm just gonna go to weird island nations. That's
It was so nice.
Yeah.
I stayed there for a week, and I was like, this is wrong. I'm really not getting up more here.
yeah. What?
And then I have cousins in San Diego, so I was like, I'll go to San Diego.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like, what a cool. Like, I would never even think to do that. Like any of that. Like, I'm just gonna go to Hawaii now. I'm gonna go.
I was just really chasing my bliss.
Uh-huh.
Stand-up's really a ball and chain for me now.
Is it? Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I feel like
Nice.
I'm the only stand-up that is like, my life is more boring as a stand-up than before.
Yeah, no shit, right? You're doing all this cool shit. What was like where I mean, obviously you were in kind of like a miserable situation and that sort of like sparked like you wanting to do your first open mic. But I mean, were you like a big comedy like nerd before that? You know what I mean? Like what was
No.
Did you know you wanted to be a comedian ever? Like, I mean, is it something you ever thought about doing when you were younger?
I remember in high school, I had gone through this phase where I really wanted to be on SNL as like a player. And I told my neighbor, and he said that I wasn't funny and that I should just stick to singing.
Wow, okay. That guy sounds like a real dick.
But no, I mean, like, I don't know if I was even funny at the time. I was probably just enjoying comedy, and I wasn't thinking about it back then. I mean, being funny is, if it's not, doesn't come. There's people who can be funny without it coming naturally. They just have to work harder.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's real. Well,
But I can't remember. I'm just more like giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Are you sure? You're too nice.
I know.
But were you a good singer?
Yes, I was a good singer.
Yeah. Are you still a good singer?
Not as good.
Not as good.
No, I haven't done it in years, and now I smoke, and so that.
Oh yeah.
It's really.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Well, anyway, so you end up in San Diego. You start doing comedy in San Diego, and that goes well.
That goes really well.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of comedians, and San Diego is a great place to develop.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I think San Diego and Sacramento don't get enough credit for being like cool cities to do comedy in.
I've heard that Sacramento is good.
I've heard Sacramento. Yeah, I mean, I know a ton of people from Sacramento.
I haven't done much Sacramento.
No, it's good. Talk to these guys in here. They'll hook you up.
Talking about it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So anyway, then you start doing. What was your degree in?
English literature.
Okay.
With a minor in women's studies.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, so if you're already doing English literature, that like takes up half of the women's studies minor. So it's like
Yeah, how funny. So that's what took you away from Maryland too. Like, what are your parents thinking? Like, what is your family thinking you're doing with your life and all of this?
Oh my gosh, my parents honestly love that I do stand up only because now I live in America.
Now you live in America versus being out
and being abroad, because that was really stressful for them. I guess like when you live outside the country, everyone thinks you're gonna die all the time.
Oh, that's so funny.
Like it's so much. Like America's so much safer. Baltimore is so much scarier than like any city I've ever been in outside the country.
I've heard people say stuff like that. Yeah. I can't even imagine.
But so they were like, "Oh, you're gonna do stand." To them, that was like, "Oh, at least she has direction."
That's fair. So and then what kind of like growing up, like what kind of kid are you? You're like an unfunny kid that doesn't like to sing, or like were you a good student, or
my mom homeschooled me till all of elementary school, so I'm not really sure what kind of kid I was. And there's
were...
only like me to compare myself to.
Why did she homeschool you?
Because she was a teacher, but she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and then
she's wanted to have her cake and eat it too.
I guess so, something like that. Also, they both wanted. Both my parents came from like very nice schools. They both went to like Catholic private schools, and they wanted us to go to those kinds of schools, but they couldn't afford it.
Oh, okay.
And so that was the like, we can give them a good education without
Catholic
spending too much money.
Yeah. Your mom's like, I could do that. Yeah,
I know about Jesus.
I know a thing or two about God. Yeah. And was your brother? Because you have a brother too.
I have three brothers.
You have three brothers? Mm-hmm. Were they homeschooled too, or was it just you?
My younger, the one just below me, he was homeschooled all through elementary school as well. But then we both started school in the sixth grade. She would send us to school. And the other two, by the time...
Are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the other two, they got to school earlier because my parents split, and then it was like, we can't homeschool you.
Yeah,
this is
right.
too much.
Right. Are you like, you know, how much younger are your like youngest brothers than you?
We're all 3 years apart. So
Oh, okay.
my youngest brother is 9 years younger than me.
Okay, yeah. All right, what are they? I mean, like, you just blow into town. Are they still back in Maryland?
Yeah, they're still back in Maryland.
Yeah. And you just blow into town every now and then, like this weird California, like
Oh.
Mary Poppins character that's like, I do comedy in New Zealand.
Well, when I left, I was gone for 2 years at a time. I hadn't been home. Actually, no, the first time I left, I was gone for 3 whole years, and I never came back.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've been back like every year, and now more often because there's a little more money. But I don't know. They were all kind of older when it happened. The youngest one would have been like 16 when I left, and so the other two were like in college age. One of my brothers is in the Navy now, so he's not even there anymore.
Sure.
And then the other two were kind of like, we're in college.
Yeah.
Electro music.
EDM.
Yeah, they go to all those concerts like
Yeah.
Boondocks or whatever they call it, you know. There's big EDM concerts.
Yeah, I don't know, like it's like a festival. Yeah.
Because they go to those festivals and they have like glow sticks in their mouth and they wear
That's
like.
just what they're doing. Yeah, good for them, man.
Yeah,
Just living their best.
they're living their best life.
Living their best life. Yeah. That's wild. Do you feel like starting comedy in kind of like at least by our standards, like an obscure place? Do you feel like that was helpful to you? Like later on now, it's like, oh, if I can do comedy in this weird backwater New Zealand town, I can do comedy anywhere.
It's yeah. I guess so. I don't really think of it that way because until I got to America, I didn't even know how to write a joke. So I was doing like 6 months of stand-up.
With no jokes.
I was just getting up there telling stories. And they were bad. Like, I've listened to the recordings. They're really bad.
Ooh, yeah.
But everyone's so nice over there.
That's funny.
So I had no clue.
You're just crushing.
Oh, yeah, I'm just crushing. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm really good at this.
But do they have that, like, European sense of, like long form, like, storytelling? Like, I mean, you see a lot of British comedians that are kind of like that.
Yeah, they definitely like that kind of comedy.
Yeah.
So maybe if I went out there again, I would still be able to do that. But my style's changed so much.
Sure. Yeah.
I remember when I first came to the States, back to the States, I was in San Diego. You know Trey Stewart, right?
Yeah.
Trey Stewart, it was like maybe a week or two into knowing me and then seeing me go up. And we're like a Quick Mart with another comedian who has been doing comedy for like 7 years. And she's standing there in line with us, and he goes, you're going to really need to write some jokes because you don't want to be someone like 7 years in who doesn't know how to write a joke.
Ooh, wow.
And she was just so like
it's so
broken.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing that and going, I have to learn how to write jokes. This can't happen to me.
Right. I don't want to be like her. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's like, I think it's shitty, but it's a good friend move. Like, I know so many wildly unfunny comedians who, like, they'll surround themselves in, like, positivity. They're like, oh, just really positive. But it's like, you need a friend that, like, will kick you in the dick, you know? That's actually why I think there's so many good comedians, like, up north in, like, the Northern Valley. Because they're not nice to each other. I mean, like they all love each
blunt.
other. Like, yeah, but I mean, like Taylor and Marcus are a great example of that. They're ball busters, you know, and it's like, I mean, obviously it can go too far. Like sometimes it can be a little mean spirited, but you get stuck in these like bubbles where everybody's just yes menning and
shaking each other's hands and like great set.
Yeah, good set.
Although I'm so guilty of that. Great set because I'm like, what else am I gonna do? I said it to the other person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The phrase that I try to use when instead of that, I've gotten away with it, but I need to go back or away from it. But I need to go back is like your stuff.
Liked your stuff.
Liked your stuff.
That's cool. I like that.
It's
vague.
Yeah, it's vague. It's like it's not really an indication of how they did. It's just like, hey, I heard your material and I liked it. Like So
I have a friend who books a show. His line, if he thinks they're bad, he'll go, "Did you have fun up there?"
It's pretty brutal. Yeah, if I have a bad set, I just try to be the first person to acknowledge it. Like, that was shit. And then like you can almost see like everyone's like, oh, thank God, like he said it first. Yeah,
I hate walking around knowing I had a bad set and like everyone's singing it. I'm like, let me just put that out there so it's off me.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, I had a weekend at the Madhouse in San Diego, and one of my sets just did not go well. And
in that big room.
In the big room, yeah.
Yeah, this cavernous room.
Yeah, it's so huge. It's such a weird setup.
It's like a cathedral.
It is. I mean, there's little stained glass windows in it. Yeah, you're not wrong. But, you know, I ended up, like, once I figured it out, I ended up liking that back room quite a bit.
Oh, the brick room is bomb.
The brick room is like, I hated it until I figured it out. Like, there's no tricks. You can't do any tricks in that room. You just have to be super real, super direct, and that's what that weird crowd. I don't know why people spend $10 to go into that back room and like not laugh, but it's just you have to be just punch, and then just super aggressive with that room, and once I figured that out, I was like, oh, I actually really like this room now. This is fun.
Yeah, it's a good room to like run like the dark stuff that you have been doing at Mike's.
Dude, yeah, 100%. It was like all the jokes that I pulled out of my set for the main room show are the jokes that I did in that back room, and it was a blast. Like, I tried to do like my main room set in the back room, and it didn't work.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, okay, let's do the B-sides back here, and like I was like, oh,
it's the raw room.
Yeah, it is. It was great. I liked it. I mean, like I said, it took me a few tries to figure it out, but once I got it, I got it. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. Oh,
we were talking about comedy.
Yeah, we were talking about comedy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and yeah, and so you're doing that. So you didn't feel like any of that I mean, I figured out where we're at because we were talking about your joke writing and your storytelling. Yeah, and so when did that shift start to happen? When were you like?
When I was in San Diego, because San Diego's a big joke town. Like, all the comedians in San Diego are way more concerned with joke writing than performance. I would say. Sure. And for me, that was really helpful because not that I had like experience in performance, but I had grown up doing like musical theater and theater in general, and so it was all the things I really needed to learn. I learned in San Diego, like joke structure, how to make a set, you know, all the things that feel more like homework. How to write a joke.
Yeah.
I said that, joke structure. That's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fine. I get where you're coming from. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So you had like a whole like re-education once you got there.
Yeah, it was really good for me, and now I kind of feel like I need to get more comfortable exploring, you know, the more loose side, because now I'm so like, oh, I have to have jokes, you know, impress my friends.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I have to be more, you know, able to be free too.
Yeah,
I shouldn't just get rigid.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because I mean, in all the times I've seen you perform, I don't think I've ever seen you really do any crowd work or even acknowledge the audiences there.
Yeah, normally my crowd work is like built into a joke.
Is that like a canned crowd work type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all right. That's fine.
It's good. I get more experience doing crowd work when I go down to like San Diego to do the brick room. That's a good crowd work room.
Oh yeah, you're right. And not always to your benefit. Like sometimes you'll get into weird crowd work.
You're like, why did I do this?
Like, yeah, how do I pull out his nosedive? This is awful. Yeah, I mean, but I've also seen some. It's like I'm a big fan of. He's a buddy and he's super funny. And he had his way. That audience wouldn't ever say a word. Like it would just be laughter. Because I've seen him get heckled and it never goes well. Like it's.
Is he like mean?
He's mean, but he's just like there's no.
I like it when they're mean. It's funny.
Yeah, he's just like drops the hammer immediately. He's like, shut the fuck up or get the fuck out. And I'm paraphrasing. Like it's not. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he really likes to have a nice smooth flowing set, and so. It's not that there's not a few, like, you can get away with being that kind of comedian, but I don't know. It's good to be light on your feet. It's good to, you know, dodge and weave. Because I don't like doing crowd work either. I'm like, oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah, I have no interest in, like, writing things for crowd work, really. But the few times I've been heckled, that's probably been the most realist I've ever been on stage.
Oh, yeah.
I almost wish it happened more. Because I'm like, oh, this would make me a stronger comedian.
Just forces you, yeah.
People barely ever heckle me because I'm like a nice girl.
Oh, yeah. Who wants to, like, heckle the nice woman on stage?
I know. Even that guy at the show yesterday, he was so quiet for my set.
Yeah, he really was. Yeah, he didn't say a word.
He said nothing. He talked during everyone else's set.
Was he being real chatty or was he he was just talking at the comedians?
Well, he was trying to add to the...
Yeah, I know he was giving Jeffrey...
He was trying to be helpful.
He was tagging, yeah.
He was tagging, yes.
The whole tagging thing, yeah. Anyway, Yeah, I mean, but yeah, there's something to be said about that. I don't know. Crowd work. Yeah.
Crowd work.
I like good crowd work.
Oh yeah, I love people who can really do crowd work. Have you ever seen Matt Daddy Lockwood, our friend?
No.
Oh, he does great crowd work.
Uh-huh.
He's very, very funny. In fact, if he has a quiet audience, he almost doesn't have as good of a set.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like it's like that with David Rosenberg too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all David does is crowd work. I think he has like 3 jokes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they're all just to sell merch.
Oh, they're all just We gotta have those. Do you have merch?
Me? No, I don't. I've thought about a couple different things. I thought about I had a panties joke that I did for a long time. I'll still do it every now and then, but I was thinking about like panties for merch. Like you have a good panties joke too. You could do panties for merch.
do panties for merch.
Yeah. Just buy like a bunch of different sizes. Your closer's about panties.
You're right. I don't know. I'm trying to retire that closer.
Are you? Yeah.
I mean, not really. I really like saying it. It's so fun. It's like definitely my best joke.
Yeah.
That's why it's my closer.
It's a funny bit. Yeah.
It's a funny bit. But I almost want to get rid of it because it's like I feel like you get stuck in ruts if you keep like this is like I know I have this in my pocket if this doesn't work.
Right.
It's like I'm wondering if I'm holding myself back.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Always trying to get
Sure. Have you ever mixed it up and closed on a different bit?
Oh yeah, I've closed on a different bit. Like lately, what I've been doing is that yesterday I had a joke about like the N-word, and sometimes if that hits, I'll close on that. But if it doesn't hit the same way, I'll close on my closer.
Yeah, I mean, I have like a soft closer.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is what I'd like to close on.
Yeah, right.
And then if it doesn't work, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm definitely going to close on.
Here we go. Yeah.
Here's the ba-dum.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, I don't know. You'll find it. I feel like the closing bit is one of those ones that finds you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been my experience. Anyway, well, you're Sam Lopez.
I'm Sam Lopez.
This is a podcast called Sad Dad.
Oh, are we just starting? This is so cool.
Yeah, and
I don't know how podcasts work.
Yeah, and no, it's good. Yeah, and it's a podcast where we talk about our dads. Mm-hmm. And you have a dad.
I do.
You've mentioned him a couple times now. And you actually talk about him in your stand-up. You've got some good
I have
bits
some
about your
dad material.
Yeah, and it's always like a weird thing to like. It's like, oh, it's like, tell me about your dad. It's like, oh, like what? Like, like what? So I always like to start from the beginning. I always like to start from the beginning. And if you don't know this stuff, that's fine. That's totally cool. But I always like to start at the very beginning. Where did your dad grow up?
My dad grew up in Parkville, Maryland.
Nice. This is same place you grew up?
No, this is further. This is like right in, it's pretty much Baltimore.
Okay.
Like sometimes some people's addresses in Parkville will say Baltimore City.
Okay. So it's just kind of like a suburb or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's living like a suburb-ass life, is he?
Yeah, he's one of 7.
Oh, wow. Live in a big Catholic family.
Big Catholic family.
Where's he at in the order? Do you know?
He's second to last.
Okay, so he's one of the younger ones.
One of the younger ones.
All right, he's a little baby.
He is a little baby, but everyone, like, I don't know, he always did all the stuff, it seemed like. Or he was just, I guess he and my grandfather were really close, so he was always around the house there helping him. I
got you. What, do you know what kind of kid he was? Obviously he was a helpful kid if he's helping his dad out. Was he a good student?
No, apparently he was a bad student.
Was he?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Because my mom was apparently a very good student. And so my dad would be the one that, like, kind of would, like, oh, I understand when, you get a C. But, you got to try harder. Right. It's hard.
Yeah, okay. Was he, like, popular? Did he have a lot of friends? Or?
I think so. Apparently he was attractive.
Oh, okay. He's a good-looking dude.
Apparently he's I've seen the pictures. He's a good-looking dude. But... he lived with my uncle for a while, and I've heard a lot of stories about him being like a little different women calling at the house every night. Because back then, they had to call the house.
Yeah.
So everyone knows who he's talking to.
Hello.
Yeah.
He's
ladies' man.
Was he playing a lot of sports? Do you know? Was he a sports guy?
No, he wasn't. I mean, he played basketball, but I don't think even for the high school. But he worked all the time because he's one of 7. So everyone worked to help the family.
Did they have like a family business, or what are they doing?
No, I think they were just poor. I don't know the details, but it was like 7 people plus the parents in like a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Like a house like this with 7 kids.
How does this large I mean, it's weird to say, just living in California, living on a border state. How does a large Mexican family end up in Baltimore, Maryland? Is there a big?
I don't think they're not Mexican.
They're not.
No.
And what's the
Isn't
Lopez
that crazy?
thing? Yeah, where's the Lopez thing come from?
Oh, so all my life I was told I was Italian.
Uh-huh.
And I always thought that they were just being racist and like, you know, they didn't want to tell people that they were Hispanic.
That's so funny.
But then recently I started like looking at little, you know, they have all those family tree things.
Uh-huh.
I only started doing it because I found out one of my aunts had been in vaudeville.
Oh, funny. Yeah, yeah.
And so I started like looking things up, and then I decided to look up my dad's stuff too. And I was like, there are a lot of Italians named Lopez. Like,
is it really? I didn't know
even
that.
if they weren't, you know, like even if they were lying, who cares?
Sure.
The amount of Lopez's that came from Italy is ridiculous.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I was like, I had no clue.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, oh, I guess they weren't lying.
So here I am like an idiot thinking you're Mexican.
Most people think I'm Mexican because
Yeah.
this is California.
It's California. The last name's Lopez. You have like a darker complexion. It's not,
Yeah, I'm very tan.
You're very tan.
Well, also in California. In Maryland, I'm this color.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Underneath my arm
You're
color.
pastier. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I totally racially profiled you.
No, that's cool. I don't
for the
mind.
last 2 years.
It gets me on a lot of shows.
Oh, yeah.
I get to do a lot of Latina shows.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I don't even ask for them. People just put me on them.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
She's got the right complexion and last name. Yeah.
I mean, no one ever questions it.
Yeah, who's gonna? I didn't.
They didn't ask for a birth certificate.
Do you know? So they're an Italian family. How many? Do you know how many generations in? Like when they came over?
Oh yeah, they came.
You would know this because you
I
just
looked
looked
it
it up.
My grandfather's father and mother came over.
Okay,
So-
your grandfather's father. So it's like your great grandparents came over
Yes,
from Italy.
from Italy. Correct.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just settled into. They're like Baltimore's my jam.
No, they lived in West Virginia. They were coal miners.
No shit.
Yeah, I guess that's where the work was.
Sure.
And then my grandfather moved. And my grandfather joined the army or the Navy or something.
Yeah. Was this like World War II or
World War II.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just jumping in.
He was like one of those people that was like stuck on a boat like for a long time with no contact. And,
Oh, geez. Yeah.
But he never talked about it. He's not one of those guys. He's
No,
like, you
yeah.
know,
That generation.
that
doesn't-
generation.
Yeah.
I had to find that out like when I was looking up all this stuff. It's like, who is this guy?
Yeah. This man that is responsible for my whole
Exists.
life. Yeah,
that's weird.
existence. What did your dad? So your dad grows up. He's super popular, not necessarily a good kid. He's helping out with the family. He graduates high school. Does he go to college? What does he end up doing?
Now he starts working immediately in construction.
Okay.
And for a while he moved to Florida. I guess he's kind of like me, you know, trying to catch that bliss.
Yeah.
He's like, I can do construction in Florida. They have houses there. A lot of this is secondhand information, so I don't know if it's true.
That's so funny.
But then apparently he ran out of money, and my uncle had to go get him.
That's so funny. Yeah. To drive all the way down from Baltimore to Florida to pick up his brother.
Oh, no, wait, that's not what happened. He came down to visit him, and in the time that he was visiting, my dad decided he wanted to go back to Maryland.
Oh. He's like, this is, yeah.
He's like, And so I think they ran out of money on the way back was the problem. And then my dad had to like sell his tools to get them the rest of the way
sucks.
there. Yeah.
Tools are expensive.
Tools
man.
are really expensive.
Yeah.
But that's I think that's how the story goes.
So he comes back to Maryland, and then what's he start doing then?
And then he keeps doing construction, and he gets
Without
back
any
together
tools?
with my mom. He gets more tools.
Oh yeah, talk about that. How'd your folks meet?
My parents met in high school at a Halloween party.
Oh.
Yeah, my dad was dressed up as a cheerleader, and my mom was like a rabbit, but not like a sexy one. Like I've seen the pictures. Like it's just like a really not, just like a cute rabbit.
That's so funny. She's like this really anatomically correct rabbit because she's a nerd.
Well, I knew when I knew when I said she was a rabbit, everyone would think that she was like in a Playboy bunny.
Like a sexy bunny.
Yeah,
But
that's not the costume at all. It was like a very cute homemade bunny costume.
she's like 17 years old. Yeah.
So they meet at this Halloween party, like a bunch of because they go to like, you know, those all boys and all girls schools.
Right.
So they have like special get-togethers. And they met there, and I think they dated for a while. And then my dad moved to Florida, and then they got back together.
Okay. So he left your mom for Florida?
I guess so. I think they just broke up naturally, and then when he came back, they might have gotten back together.
Yeah.
The details are hazy on that.
You know, you could really twist that into a romantic story if you wanted to. It's like, I left her, but I knew I made a mistake.
I know.
I had to get back.
It sounds romantic.
Yeah.
But then they're divorced now, so you're always like, well, maybe you should have just stayed in Florida.
Maybe you should have stayed in Florida building houses, man.
Yeah, what was wrong with that?
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, well, and, but, I mean, how long were they married for a long time? Or?
Yeah, they were married for 17 years.
That's pretty
or maybe
good.
longer than that.
Yeah.
I was 16 when they got divorced.
That's a good run.
Yeah, it's pretty
Did
good.
they have, so they had you, like, almost right away then, huh?
Yeah, I think they were married longer than that, because I was like, they had me 3 years after they were married.
I got you.
I was like, I know those details.
Yeah.
Because I know how old they are.
Uh-huh.
And I only know how old they are off of how old they were when they had me. It's a weird, like,
How old were they when
self-centered thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, whatever works.
I have to do the math. My mom was 26 and my dad was 27.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to enjoy most of their 20s before you ruined everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I was an awesome baby. I had colic, so.
You said your mom was a teacher?
Your mom was a teacher, and then she stayed at home after she had me.
Who was I don't know, like what was your relationship like with your dad? I mean, was he real hands-on dad, or?
He was always really involved. Apparently when I was born, he quit smoking. So that's like my big claim to my dad. And like, he quit smoking because of me.
Yeah.
When they got divorced, he started smoking again.
Oh, shit.
And then we got together with my stepmom. He quit again. And so now she likes to be like, yeah, but he quit smoking again for me.
Like, listen, bitch.
No, she's the best. I love her.
Oh, is she? Oh, that's funny.
She's great. But it does like make me go, Amy.
Yeah. That's so funny. Well, that's cool. So he found love again.
Yeah, he did. They're really great together.
Yeah.
They're so in love. It makes me really happy.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah.
How's your mom feel about it? Is she supportive?
She's also married.
Okay.
But they don't really talk. They're just not into this.
I mean, all your brothers are over 18 now, right?
Yeah, and so all the communication is through my brothers mostly. So they kind of just have their own lives.
Yeah. Do you have new step siblings now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are they cool?
They're awesome. I'm not really close with the ones on my mom's side because they're a little older. Mm-hmm. But on my dad's side, his wife has a daughter who's about to get married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be a bridesmaid.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. That's so cool.
Nice.
So you got to go back to Baltimore or Maryland to do that?
I get to go back to Maryland. I went back in August to visit, and that was awesome for her engagement party.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back again in May for the
that's
wedding.
nice. You guys have cobbled together this new family. Yeah.
I know. My stepmom was really good about that. She made a huge effort, and we were not into it. None of the kids were.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, her son has Down syndrome, so he was on board right away. He was, if anyone, actually, he might have brought the whole family together, honestly. He used to write me these really sweet love notes and stuff.
Aww.
He's the sweetest person in the world. I love him. I get a text from him every day.
Aww.
It says, good day. And then if I don't respond, I will get 7 good days for the rest of the day. Just continuous.
Yeah. You say good day to you too, sir.
I would normally say good day, and he goes, yup. And then I might get a good night, depending on the day.
That's nice.
It's really nice. It makes me feel loved.
Yeah, for sure.
And built-in love.
And that, it speaks a lot to your dad's character too, because that's a tough situation. It could be a tough situation for somebody to walk into as a new spouse, but I don't know. He seems like he's doing all right.
I think he likes it too, because he's honestly he's way better with kids than he is with adolescent youths.
Sure.
He was way better with us as little kids than as teenagers.
Yeah, teenagers are tough.
Teenagers suck. I understand.
Yeah. So he was. I think we kind of derailed it, but he was a real hands-on dad, huh? And he was there at all your softball games and stuff.
He took me to softball. I did all the sports because both of them were athletics and stuff. So I did lacrosse and field hockey, basketball. I was really bad at that.
Really?
I always be under the ball and it would fall on my face.
Oh, yeah.
A constant nose.
Yeah. Called her Sam the Ham. She had that flat face, the ball always hit. You don't have a flat face. I'm just picturing a ball.
I'm just imagining the pain of it now.
A volleyball smacking into a ham.
I played volleyball also. My dad came to all my stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
I think that's also this built-in thing for dads to play a sport, so I have something to be interested in.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever it takes. At least, and he was always helpful with your homework. He would help you with your homework. It's cool. Homework's hard.
Homework is hard.
My daughter's in 3rd grade right now, and they're like doing multiplication.
Already?
I'm like, oh, this shit's hard. Like,
Are you doing fractions too?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm really struggling with some of this 3rd grade math right now. And they have them like do like the long form, and they have to like make grids. So if it's like 7 times 6, she has to like draw like a row of dots, like 6 long and 7 down, and like count the dots. And I'm like,
why don't they just memorize the multiplication
I don't know, because they're trying to get the kids to like do the math instead of memorize the math. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like visualize the concept.
But I mean, like later on when the problems are harder, you have to have them.
I think that's the thing. Though.
Oh, is this supposed to help you memorize it?
Well, it's supposed to like get you thinking about it rather than just memorizing like math facts. You're like visualizing 6 happening 7 times. Like you're like picturing it in your head, and like I think it's all part of like the Common Core curriculum. Like
Common Core.
I know it's like a controversial thing. I don't know. Like I mean I did a bit about it for a little while on stage, but it's like.
I remember that bit.
Yeah, it was just all like, it's basically just like truckers math. Like, it's like the way they teach children to do math in school now is the same way that my dad taught me how to do math problems really fast when we were delivering product for his business. Like, and it's like, like you think about these things and like you break big problems down into little problems. Like you can do it all with your mental math, and I don't know. I was just, So anyway, I forget. Oh, yeah. But anyway, 3rd grade math is hard. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, ooh, got to brush up on this.
It's very telling how you feel about your...
Yeah, I might need to take a few online courses so I don't look like an idiot to my 8-year-old daughter.
I was always bad at math. I had to take basic math in college.
Did you? That's okay. I was no better. Yeah. I was... Because that's the thing about math is like... I mean, it all builds on itself. And so, like, if you get, like, a C... in your math class and whatever, if you get a C in pre-algebra, right, you just barely passed that class, and now you're going into algebra, and you already like didn't get some of the concepts, obviously, if you got a C, and now you're getting into like a next step. So like if you have a problem, it just compounds. Like if you didn't enjoy math in one, you're not going to enjoy math going forward, and I think that's the problem with math. I think a lot of people hate math, and this includes me. Like, I don't really care for math, but I also don't think I had a really good math teacher at any point, Nobody got me excited for math.
I had one good math teacher.
Did you?
She would always say this thing. If we didn't get the concept at first, she'd be like, give it an hour, let it gel. And then at the end of the class, she'd bring it up again, and we would understand it all of a sudden.
That's so funny.
She was just like some kind of math wizard teacher.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I like Abby's teacher last year was like, because Abby is like, she doesn't like math that much, and I remember we were in like a student teacher conference, and I was like, she really doesn't like math. You have any suggestions on like how to maybe get her more excited about math? And her teacher's response was like, oh, I didn't like math either when I was her age. I was more of an English and history person, and I still am today. And I'm like, oh, that's why she doesn't like math. It's because you don't like math.
You don't like math.
Like, there's no way you can like make anybody excited about something that you yourself are not excited about.
That's awful.
I don't know. So, anyway, yeah. This is a part of the show where I ask. I didn't really prep you on this, so if you need to take a second, it's fine.
Oh, jeez. What?
No, it's okay. It's not bad. It's good.
Okay, I feel like I should have listened to all of the shows before me.
No,
so that I was
you're fine. I'm so glad that I finally had you on this week because you were really evasive. You were like slippery.
I wanted to do it.
I know you did.
But the last time I was supposed to do it, someone else really wanted to do it, and I felt like since they were driving that I should let them do it.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah, that was the Temasol episode, and then I feel like you always were like slipping through my sad dad fingers.
I know, now I'm here finally.
Yeah. I didn't mean for that to sound so creepy. I'm sorry.
No, it was funny.
It's good.
Let it be creepy. You have a mustache.
You know what it was?
Lean into it.
Yeah, just lean into the creep. You know what it was too? Was like I had to do this because I told my listeners last week that you were going to be my guest this week. So we were like committed. So I was going to make this happen.
I'm so glad I could be here for
There's so much Sam Lopez hype coming into this week's episode.
I feel really nervous now.
Oh yeah. The pressure could not be higher.
I already took a shower and I'm so sweaty.
I know. It's all right. It's the air conditioner's not on. That could be part of it.
I'm really sweaty.
That's good. Thank God. So this is part of the show. I call it. I always ask for a dad anecdote. I call them dadecdotes. So it's like a favorite story about your dad.
A favorite story.
Like-
Oh my gosh, I know exactly the story because
good.
we were talking about it last time I was home.
Oh, good.
Okay, sorry. I hate laughing at myself ahead of time. I'm such an asshole.
It's a real dick move. Yeah.
So one year we were supposed to. First of all, you need to know that this trip we were supposed to go to this Christian music festival
No.
called Creation.
Okay.
But for some reason, like, we didn't have tickets to go. Like, we couldn't get in. And we were there with like a bunch of other Christian people. And so we were like, you know what? We have all of our campers and stuff because we were going to go to this cool festival. Let's go with the kids to another campsite and just, have a good weekend. And so we all go camping with all these Christian people. And the campsite has like an amphitheater and they do like events and they just had a karaoke night. And my dad and I wanted to do karaoke. And I was like, Dad, do it with me. And I'm like 13.
Nice.
So I'm like just on the edge of like, I don't want to do this, Samantha.
And like, so is it like all those like contemporary like Christian songs like?
No, because this isn't even affiliated with the Christian festival because we couldn't get in. So we're just at a regular campsite.
I see.
But what you really need to know is that we were with a lot of Christian people.
Okay. All
for the
right.
story to like.
Yeah. I follow. Okay. Good. I'm with you.
So he does it. I don't know why. I guess I'm still in that age where you're like, I'll do this for you.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to pick a song and. All these songs I want, he doesn't know the lyrics to, and all the songs he wants, I don't know the lyrics to. And so we're like, oh, okay, we've both seen Grease. Let's do a Grease song. We'll do Summer Nights. And Summer Nights, the girl part is all about falling in love, but his part is all about fucking. It's all like, we'll get dirty down in the sand. So I would say something like really sweet and adorable. Like, we'll go strolling, drink lemonade. It'd be like, and then I fucked her underneath the... I hit her hard underneath the boardwalk.
That's so funny.
And my poor father's just like so white the whole time, but he's doing it. Because it would be worse to just stop.
Yeah, right. That's so funny. That's a great anecdote.
It's a great dad.
It's a great dad story. Yeah.
Yeah, we told like 5 people at this engagement party.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, Sam, you've been awesome. If people want more Sam Lopez in their life, like where should they go? Where should they find you?
Follow me on Instagram at the best Sam Lopez.
The best.
The image of me, I have a mustache and an afro, so don't be turned away by that.
Yeah. You're really leaning into that whole.
It's just
Sam
it's
thing.
a really funny picture. I can't take it down.
You were talking earlier about how it's like. Do you feel like going by Sam is what's Sam short for?
Samantha.
Okay, got it. Samuela.
Samosa.
Oh yeah.
Samosa.
Yeah. I like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, you were saying now the whole Sam. Do you feel like the Sam thing has held you back at all in comedy? Like, oh, who's this creepy Sam guy?
And I didn't think that until recently.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it. I like going up, and I can tell that the audience is surprised that it's me.
Yeah, it kind of subverts expectations a little bit. Yeah,
I enjoy that feeling. And I've gone up as Samantha. Like, people have brought me up as Samantha, and that's fine too.
Right.
It's just I've always been Sam. I mean, most of my like adolescence. Like, I started playing sports, and then you're Sam.
Oh, right.
So it feels more natural to go up like that.
They're expecting a Mexican dude, and they get an Italian woman.
I know. It's weird.
It's kind of fun. Yeah.
It's fun.
Right on. Well, thanks so much for being on today. You were
Thanks
awesome.
for having me.
Yeah.
It was fun. Okay.
And we're back. Sam Lopez, everybody. Give it up for her. She's so fun. I felt good, right? It felt good to just have a regular ass Sad Dad episode. Yeah, and I got a fun one for you next week with Marcus Pavril, real funny comedian out of the North Central Valley. And so we'll be back next week to do that. If you enjoyed the show, you want to support, help me pay some of the hosting fees to get this thing posted for you guys every month. You can support the Sad Dad Patreon. You can get a hold of me, saddadpodcast@gmail.com. You can get on the Sad Dad Facebook page if you're feeling like socializing. I haven't been on there much. I don't even know what's going on. It's probably chaos. It's probably nothing. Who knows? And then, there's always something else I plug. Whatever, who cares? Come on to a show. Come on to a comedy show if you can, if you want to. just let me know. I'll, even if it's a paid premium show, I'll give you a little Sad Dad discount, okay? So just let me know. And that's it. All right, guys. You have a great week, and adios.